So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Gaming with CJ channel and also on Facebook here. So, this is actually going to bring a lot of things in for this talk show. Um, and I brought me a special guest here. And this is actually, he's been a good friend of mine through the call community, and he pretty much loves professional wrestling like I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the man as the one and only DJ Chaotic.
What up, everybody? How things going?
Now, the question is, DJ, is this. I don't know if you watch Monday Night Raw, but my question is not only has CM Punk targeted Braun Breaker's family, but also he said and quoted that Steiner math equals GTS 123. I want to know your thoughts on that promo with CM Punk doing that promo to Braun Breaker. I mean, what do you think CM Punk was trying to prove by that promo? That's my question to you.
I mean, the man literally was in a heated situation, and I get it. You was in that moment. Brown was taking shots at you before you came back from the match at War Games. But in that same token, I feel like CM Punk is is showing his true skill as a promo artist, and yet Braun just didn't accept truth. I mean, the man grew up in the family of wrestling. I understand the Steiners are legendary. Don't get me wrong. One of the many my favorite tag teams. But also in that same token, this match is shaping up to be a good one. And there's heated words that came across both people. So that's all I can say. It's like, let the best man win.
Now, January 5th is not far away. And I'm just kind of curious if Punk's still going to be the world champion, or we're going to see Braun Breaker become the new world champion. And you guys can put the comments here on Facebook as well as YouTube, but I just want to know exactly like what in all general as a fan perspective, I definitely want to know what WWE is going to do with the storyline leading up to January 5th for their title match. That's the question that I'm trying to ask here.
Here's the thing. You can go many directions with this, but I feel like after those promos from Braun Breaker and CM Punk, you have to set this up strategically here. You can't miss on anything moving forward before January 5th. So these promos have to hit, and it has to mean a lot for this match in the long run. All I gotta say is we need to have a moment where AJ Lee shows up in this situation and does something to Braun and smacks Braun Breaker. I feel like if you get AJ Lee in the situation, that could put a lot of momentum in CM Punk's favor moving into this. But also, we have to take into consideration the X Factor being Austin Theory, being involved with this.
Now, another question is, I know, I think this is this week on Monday Night Raw when we get to see that triple threat between Stephanie Vaquer, Nikki Bella, and Raquel Rodriguez. And another question I was going to ask you, DJ, you know, I understand me and you are fans of, you know, the wrestling business. I definitely want to know what WWE has in store for that title match. Are they going to give us a good 5-star match? Or are they going to give us the Judgment Day interfering and pretty much doing something to pretty much like they always do, you know, make it a good match, and then, you know, next thing you know, they basically are just throwing it all out the window.
But here's my theory on that situation right there. Raquel has a lot of momentum in her favor, so does Nikki. But here's the X factor that people probably see coming. I feel like this is a moment where Liv Morgan is going to play backstage politics and literally cost Raquel the match. Because I don't know if you've seen it, but you notice how Liv pulled Raquel off the ropes in that moment in the match that she had. And I feel like Liv is going to play a huge factor in costing Raquel the match. Because I think if WWE is setting this up correctly, Liv is probably going to face Stephanie at some point, and they're going to give the title to Liv Morgan.
Now, another thing I'm going to say here is during that match that Stephanie Vaquer was in with Raquel Rodriguez, that's when Nikki Bella got involved and pretty much threw Raquel Rodriguez to the steps and made Stephanie Vaquer pretty much hit her head on the ring post. My question is this, like, I wonder if they do decide to drop the title to Nikki Bella. Now, I'm not saying they will, but I'm just saying if. What do you guys think in the comments, as well as the Facebook comments here? What do you guys think as far as that goes of what title reign is Nikki going to have? Is she going to be a good champion, or is she going to be one of these champions that, you know, show up every once in a blue moon, kind of like Brock Lesnar sort of deal?
Here's my thing on this, okay? And don't get this the wrong way, but I feel like in the cases that we've seen champions in WWE, it feels like they have had a very terrible run at first because they don't know how to strategically go about it for the next opponent that they're going to have. And just look at the results. Io Sky, she had the title. You didn't really book her to be a effective champion, but you didn't put opponents in play until ultimately Stephanie won the match against Io, and the rest is history. But in that same token, we also have to look at how the booking has been for these champions. Like, the only glaring person that looks like they've been in a successful run, look at the length that Rhea Ripley had before being caused before a costly injury sidelined her. The same thing with a host of other wrestlers. Injuries played a huge part in this, which is why most of their roster has been depleted. But you can't say this is the ultimate factor because most wrestlers don't really have a fair championship run. The Street Profits, another prime example of this. They had a tag team.
If we go back to the title run, like you said, and I'll try to answer Danny's comment here. You look at the World Heavyweight Championship history. When Seth Rollins had the belt and Sting wanted to go after the WWE title. To be honest, I personally think Sting would be a great WWE champion if WWE would have let Rollins drop the title to Sting. But at the same time, you have to think that back then, everything wasn't run by TKO. It was run by the man behind the phenomenon of that company at the time was Vince McMahon. So,
yep.
To be honest, like I said, I think Sting would be a great WWE champion if WWE would have allowed it. But at the same time, you got to think of, the business perspective behind it too, because the World Heavyweight title is pretty much, they use that title as like whoever's going to get them more views is, the more popularity, that means you're pretty much going to get the belt, basically. So if you get popularity, you're going to get the belt. You get more chances to get the belt. Now, the newer guys that comes into the business, you're just basically called curtain jerkers. You're basically just opening the show, starting the show out, and then doing that route. But going back to Danny's question here, he said, do you think Chris Jericho will return to Raw or SmackDown when he makes his eventual return? That's a good question. Now, I will answer this, and then I'll let DJ answer. If Chris Jericho was to return, I think that he would return at the Royal Rumble as a special entry, maybe number 30, if WWE allows him to return, and also if the creative actually has a storyline for him to return. Now, my answer to that is I think he would, but there's going to be right negotiations on the table. So, in other words, there's got to be good money involved. There's got to be probably some health insurance, travel paid stuff that Jericho would probably return. But to me, I would love to see Chris Jericho return. He was a great ECW star. Speaking of ECW, there's a lot of them. I mean, geez, hell, I could go on for hours. But I'm just going to say that ECW, back in the day when I was watching it, you had Shane Douglas, you had guys like Brian Pillman, you had Just Incredible, you had Taz, you had Rhino, you had, pretty much all these other guys that, came up from, either Smoky Mountain or, New Japan, or some companies like that to basically make it stand out as Extreme Championship Wrestling. Now, if we go back to the original history of how ECW was run, it was by one man because he threw the NWA title in the garbage, and that's what opened the doors of ECW. When Paul Heyman bought it, of course, it was known as Eastern Championship Wrestling before it was changed to Extreme Championship Wrestling. So there's a little bit of history there. But as far as Danny's question to me is, I really think Chris Jericho will return. Now, he may return this year at the Rumble or maybe next year. Who knows? But I'll leave that question to DJ so he can answer it on that side as well.
See, my theory of Chris Jericho returning And I feel like this is a prime situation here because we have to ask ourselves this question: which champion is going to be the target point of Jericho's storyline? Do we go for Raw and literally CM Punk or either Braun Breaker, whoever holds the championship, or do we target SmackDown and Cody Rhodes for a potential rivalry there, or Drew McIntyre, whatever one has the title after the SmackDown event in Berlin? This is where we have to say to ourselves this: what target does Jericho really want to have the feud with more? I mean, it could have happened, like the whole thing with Jericho and Cody could have been a thing in AEW, but in that same token, Cody really wanted to be more of a backstage running things, getting the show in the creative forefront. And I also can see the scenario of the Royal Rumble, like you said, CJ, because the Rumble plays an intricate part in everything moving forward, because Jericho is a big name. He's a legend in this business, and take nothing away from Jericho's accolades or accomplishments he's done in this wrestling industry. Jericho has ultimately been a huge storyline for any wrestler that he comes in contact with. And that's the beautiful thing about Jericho. He can make anybody a star.
Now, going back on the Royal Rumble, if I was WWE, and I'm saying this out of especially, the Royal Rumble this year, here's what I would do. Now, it's, like I said, it's literally totally up to them what they do, because, I could say something and it don't mean a thing, so they don't really take my word for it. But the ideal that I had is for the Royal Rumble, I think they need to bring back older guys that's still living in the wrestling business. Have Shane Douglas to make a, one day return. Have Ricky Morton. Have Robert Gibson. Have Tommy Wildfire Rich. I mean, Richie Rich, or Barbarian, Mr. Hughes, or I'm trying to name a list on top of my head here. Have them go in the Rumble this year. And literally, like, if WWE especially, I don't know if WWE would actually do this, but this would be a great idea. I mean, heck, if they actually had, could you imagine if Tommy Wildfire Rich won the Rumble? Could you imagine if Shane Douglas won the Rumble? Sitting here watching the Royal Rumble, could you imagine one of those two guys winning the Rumble of 2026? I mean, to me, I would be totally, like, fired up, like, if those two actually won the Rumble. But also at the same time, you really got to think about this too on a fan perspective and also wrestling perspective as well, that it's basically the looking at it as like the business perspective of it. The story writing team and the creative team has to get together. So it's basically like they talk about things, what's going to happen. So, for example, okay, I'm not saying this would happen, but for example, like, let's say if they did have Tommy Rich or Shane Douglas won the Rumble. So they would write out what we call in the business a script. So basically, they would write the script out saying, okay, Shane Douglas or Tommy Rich or Camelo Hayes or Gunther is going to be the last four in the Rumble. Gunther is going to eliminate Carmelo. Shane Douglas is going to eliminate Gunther. It's going to be down to Tommy Rich and Shane Douglas if that ever happens. They could change things. WWE's
Right.
the last minute calls in the Rumble. There's been history because if you go back and watch the Rumble between Cena and Batista, where it became a tie, everybody thought, oh crap, it's the first time in history. What do they do for a tiebreaker? And me to watch it, to be honest, DJ, to me watching that as a kid and looking at that and seeing, two of my favorites going head to head in that Rumble, and literally the referees holding John Cena's hand, and then the other referees holding Batista's hand. And, that Royal Rumble got chaotic because, looking at the fan perspective on television, you're like, holy shit, they ain't got a winner.
It was one of them stunning performances in Rumble history that we expected the unexpected, but we was also on the edge of our seats for that particular moment between Batista and John Cena. I mean, that, in my perspective of watching that moment, I was like, what's the next step after this? Even though both came out the ring, you didn't know whose feet touched first, but yet you had to settle it in a way that both competitors had a fair, equal opportunity at who's going to go to WrestleMania. I mean, it was so much intrigue to that storyline, and it made a lot of sense. But getting to your Royal Rumble situation here, I mean, the mystery of the Rumble, and I'm saying this from a fan perspective and looking at it from the business aspect as well, the Rumble over the years has not had its fair share of mystery, if I could put that in perspective, because it's been NXT being invited, this over here, but your mystery has been lost in this Royal Rumble. There was not enough like legendary figures in the Rumble. And I think WWE needs to get back to that mystery suspense aspect of the Rumble, to where guys like you mentioned can appear in a one-time Rumble and have some interesting twist, And
Now, going back to that, DJ, about the Rumble, I'm going to ask also my chat and also people that's actually watching on Facebook. When you guys watch the Royal Rumble, okay, what was your guys' favorite moment of the Royal Rumble? Now, this could be something, easy as 1, 2, 3 is going, watching the Royal Rumble either on, back then, I think you watched it on cable television because, Netflix wasn't as well as Peacock. So WWE
did the WWE Network.
Or WWE Network, yeah. So I'm asking you guys exactly this. What was your favorite WWE Royal Rumble moment? Now, mine, in all honesty, And I'm trying to go back and think here because I'm trying to think of the year, but I can tell you what happened during the Rumble is when Stone Cold won his third Rumble. I don't know what year that was, so if you guys know the year, you can put it on the Facebook comments or as well as the YouTube comments. But that was my favorite part of the Rumble, seeing Stone Cold be the only man to win the Rumble 3 times in a row. Now, the same question goes to you. What was your favorite Royal Rumble moment?
Here's my thing. I'll take you back. I don't know what year this was in, but I gotta say the big one for me has to be the one that Rey Mysterio won, basically being the first man in the Rumble and went through 29 other guys to win his first ever World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. That right there, you never seen the cruiserweight win the Rumble like that from number one and ultimately win the championship the night of WrestleMania. I gotta hand it to Ray because he's a legend and he deserved every bit of that accomplishment.
Now going back on the Rumble part here, and I'm going to try to do this talk show here because I'm pretty much texting, so I'm doing both at the same time. But going back at the thing, as far as talking about the Rumble, I mean, there's some good moments. Don't get me wrong. There's some good moments that the Rumble has had.
Mm-hmm.
We take a look at one of those Rumble moments, and I would literally have to say this as well, is if you guys never watched the Royal Rumble of, I think it was 2004, when Batista won the Rumble, the storyline between him and Triple H for that world title, I mean, you could literally, especially Batista basically got to choose who he wanted to go to face at WrestleMania. He could come to Teddy Long, which was SmackDown, making a triple threat JBL, John Cena, and Batista for the WWE title. Now, what a WrestleMania that would be, 3 guys over the WWE title, if Batista chose that. But instead, he chose the World Heavyweight title. And the question that I'm asking is, what do you guys think exactly if Batista was, we went back in history and Batista, it's 2004, Batista's won the Rumble. You see him in the ring with the world champion Triple H and JBL, and you see him throw the Raw contract down, signing the SmackDown contract, and seeing him literally go
It wasn't JBL, it was literally Triple H, Flair, and Batista with the Raw and SmackDown general managers.
Well, I'm saying if Batista was to choose JBL at WrestleMania. So, in other words, what if we got that segment to where he throws the Raw contract down, he signs the SmackDown one, and then at WrestleMania, we got to saw the biggest triple threat match in history. JBL defends the WWE title against John Cena and Batista. To me personally, that would be I'm literally excited. That would be a daggone good WrestleMania for the WWE title. Or let's put it this way: what if Triple H went back into the golden era to face Bret Hart or Yokozuna, or
It's a lot of intrigue.
there's a lot of things that, as a fan, you have a lot of dream matches that you can't literally go back to because some of these wrestlers are deceased or retired or no longer in the business. But
Right.
having that mindset, just imagine a WrestleMania. I'll tell you a good one: Ric Flair versus John Cena, 16-time world champion versus 17-time world champion.
That,
What
I mean,
wrestling
and you put a title in that moment between Cena and Ric Flair, that would be a huge dream match of any fan. But in that same outlet, going back to the JBL and triple threat match situation, I was really looking at that moment because I just was watching that exact clip of that segment from Monday Night Raw, CJ. And I'm sitting up here saying to myself this: the possibilities could have been endless if that triple threat match between Cena, JBL, and Batista, that would have been a monumental match, not only for WWE, but the fans would be talking big about it and watching that moment over and over again. But also looking at the history of Evolution and that epic confrontation between Triple H and Batista ultimately made a big WrestleMania moment in itself for both individuals as well. But the dream match scenario could have been endless with certain championship opportune moments. Like, we never really got a real chance to see Cena and Ric Flair go toe to toe in the ring. Just like a lot of big moments, I wish we could go back and rewind the books to see these legendary matches become a thing. Like, hell, I would have loved to see Sting versus Undertaker one time at WrestleMania. That would have been an endless match as well, too. I mean, hell, in the comments below, if CJ wouldn't mind this, put your favorite dream match scenario that you would love to see if these wrestlers was in their prime.
Yeah, I would love to hear you guys' comments too, because there's a lot of things I would love to see for WrestleMania that we never really got to see. One of those is, like you said, Sting versus Undertaker. That would have been a daggone good WrestleMania to actually watch. And not only that, Ric Flair versus John Cena. Could you imagine, watching television and, just imagine the settings behind us. It's WrestleMania. You turn on your Netflix or whatever, YouTube, or, not YouTube, but, like
or cable provider, whatever the case may be.
ESPN or whatever the, PLE or whatever they call it nowadays.
Right.
Premium live. Just imagine you're watching WrestleMania, okay? And you turn on to see these two matches at WrestleMania: Ric Flair versus John Cena, Sting versus Undertaker. How excited will you guys get? Comment down on the chat. for that. I definitely want to hear you guys' feedback from that as well as DJ. But
and the one match that I was really hoping to see before he passed away, I would have loved to see the Wyatt family if they could have took a step back in time to actually battle the ministry.
now, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to get interesting because now I'm going to send in Aaron Ray.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy.
Basically talking about favorite WrestleMania matches that you would love to see, and also your favorite Royal Rumble moments.
Royal Rumble moment. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Like all time or like last 10 years?
All time.
Could be any moment.
Okay. Maven. I think Maven eliminating The Undertaker was pretty fucking hilarious, and even though he got his ass whooped for it.
Yeah, that I have to admit that Undertaker was so
because no one expected little Maven to come out there and eliminate The Undertaker. Come on, this is a guy that came from Tough Enough.
Facts. And that suspense behind it was so interestingly done because Undertaker basically allowed the moment to go down, but he played into it so perfectly.
He actually looked like,
and it was executed so unannounced. It was just a surprise moment.
It was just like the whole thing.
But it was a shock.
It was like when remember when him and Brock were at SummerSlam or whatever, and he's like, and Brock looks over and he goes, "Ugh." They're making faces at each other. It was sort of like that, but way back before that.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, in that same token, they kind of set this same moment back up at another Royal Rumble. But at this other Royal Rumble, it felt like Taker got the upper hand on Maven.
Yep.
Now, going back to ECW, and I know Aaron's got some favorites, and I know I got some favorites. One of the best damn wrestling shows that pretty much you take a lot to bust somebody over the head with.
Like when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell is this shit? I saw these two 400-pound men on the top turnbuckle jumping on this little skinny guy that became Nunzio. I'm like, what? Because we didn't really get like pro wrestling like that. It came on an unscripted channel. It came on like your local, like they tell you about community events. It came on that channel at like 2 a.m.
Oh, there's a moment that sticks out in my mind from ECW, and I was there live to witness it.
Which one?
I remember like it was. Here's the moment. It was at the Burt Flickinger Center, ECC. I was down at the building that they had their basketball court in. I remember it like it was yesterday. 2 wrestlers, and they had a stack full of tables in the ring.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
And the moment happened so quickly, they were punching each other at the top of the little platform that they had set up, and the other one just plastered right through all the tables.
I was thinking of the scaffolding match they had there. Brian Lee and Tommy Dreamer.
Yes.
Is that the one?
That is the one.
Yeah, I wish I would have been there. That looked like it was insane.
Now, when we go to my favorite ECW moment, Aaron knows it as well. I remember the Dudley Boys doing the Heat Wave.
No, good Lord. The most heated promo I think that's the most heated promo in all of wrestling history.
Oh, I remember that one. That was crazy.
Yeah, you can't say that on here. You'll get banned for saying what they said, but you know what they said.
Go back to ECW for a minute. Like if they did that in today's era of wrestling fans are like so soft. Like
No,
they
because
would,
they'd be getting hit with lawsuits left and right.
that's what I was going to say. They would get hit with lawsuits left and right. Like,
And here's the other thing about ECW that was so good. They didn't believe in floor mats.
No, and
They went straight on the hardwood floor. No fucks
concrete,
given whatsoever.
or even cold concrete.
They didn't have 2 ounces of care whatsoever. And then not to mention the ladies was just, oh my goodness. They didn't care what outfit they wore. It was like sheer on site.
It was like wrestlers turned porn stars / strippers.
Like
Pretty much.
ECW hosted a lot of familiar faces in the industry. And I don't know if y'all remember, one of them just so happened to be Jasmine St. Clair.
This is jazz, ain't it?
No. Jasmine St. Clair was a porn star that visited ECW 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
And
I know who she is.
He got power driven by somebody, or I think it was Francine who power drived her, and they kind of humiliated her in general.
Yeah, because she was, if you remember, before that even took place, remember she was taking shots at wrestlers like, oh, it's a fake sport, blah, 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 until she got in there.
Yeah,
let me tell you,
Francine confronted her. I think Tammy Lynn said to a Sonny confronted her.
A bunch of them told her,
hey, confronted her.
They're like, this isn't something to sleep on. Either you do it with 110% or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, like a lot of people confronted her about it. I think even Lita, who was Miss Congeniality, if y'all don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, CJ.
Here's the thing that I'm going to say about that. You know, people wants to call the sport fake, right? They want to call it fake, okay? Until you actually take that bump, until you actually take that body slam, then I really and truly don't want to hear no wrestling fans to say it's fake until they done that. Until they actually took the bump, until they actually took the pain that comes with that bump. Don't try to call something that's fake that's not, because I will defend that real quick.
And here's the other thing that I'll add on to that, CJ. Now, let's put this in perspective. The bumps, everything that's in wrestling, but until y'all realize, unlike WWE now, who is using fake props, in ECW there was nothing fake. Real chairs,
motherfucker.
Real tables.
I knew guys that were actually
tubes.
Yeah, light tube. You forgot cheese graters.
Like everything in the kitchen sink got thrown at you in ECW.
Even a toilet bowl or a toilet seat.
Now we're going to switch this over here to the favorite match of professional wrestling. This could mean any wrestling matches that you guys saw, and we're going to start with DJ and then Aaron, and then I'll go last as myself.
Favorite moment. I got to go back to this particular moment here. WrestleMania 3. Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
Pretty much changed wrestling forever.
The body slam.
Heard around the world. Basically.
You can't go wrong with that moment. And it was such enthusiasm for these two to meet, which was the most legendary match in both men's career, mind you.
Yeah, they were both in there.
But now they're no longer around, but this is going to be talked about for decades.
Hey, they might not be around anymore, but hey, their match will live forever.
Exactly.
That's like matching up, like, two icons and saying, "Hey, you can't match that," and then they show up and they actually do.
It was kind of like that led to the other moment, but we all know the other moment is so iconic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Taking you to WrestleMania 6. Warrior versus Hogan was the other legendary match that was my second half of that
I think
equation.
that's in all Gen X's childhoods. Anyone that's a Gen X, that's always going to be in their childhood. Hogan, Warrior.
But you can go ahead, Aaron, with yours.
Mine basically would have to be, because I was there live, was Triple H, Shawn Michaels. You know, the Triple H Undertaker, Shawn Michaels guest referee, WrestleMania 29, was it? Or 28. It was either one of them, but that was one. And then I was also at WrestleMania. I can't think of which one. It was Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair retirement match. Those were the two ones I thought were like pretty damn cool. It was like I was there when that shit happened, you know. But yeah, those would probably be mine. But there's probably more too if I think about it. But those are my top two.
You kind of was close around the year that you said.
Yeah.
Aaron, which was WrestleMania 28, the brutal Hell in a Cell match.
That shit was brutal. Like
the end of an era with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee.
I was the second level up from the floor, and I could still hear those chair shots like they were going off like gunfire. That's how loud it was. How loud it was, literally, you could be on the back side of the arena and still hear them things snapping off.
Dang.
That's how fucking much power that dude uses when he used the chair. I'm like, bruh. I was hoping they were gonna get on to the top or something, but they never did. That would have been cool though, but you you got to remember they were in the like mid 40s, 50s at that time, so they couldn't really be doing no.
As the coin said, between both of them, I think they said this before the match even took place at WrestleMania. It was either at a Raw or SmackDown, where Undertaker said it like this: "We are the last of a dying breed."
They were the last of the dying breed and still are. I mean, and they're talking about the Attitude Era, basically. Because
from that era.
They're the last three from that era that were still physically able to do what they love.
Mm-hmm.
And I still.
But now looking at all three of them being Hall of Famers, they doing their little moments. They got Taker's doing his podcast.
I love Taker's podcast. This shit's awesome.
It's like everybody has their voice seen and heard because now they can relive all their moments, but not feel like they're in the ring to just do it.
The cool thing about Taker is now he can actually sit down and like be like, "Hey, I'm gonna reminisce about this match, the Mick Foley Hell in a Cell." Remember?
Yeah,
that's another one I was at because I was only like 10 and it was in Providence, Rhode Island, because it was King of the Ring.
Like there are so many moments that I have in my mind that are legendary moments that are still talked about to this day.
Yeah, I'm talking like WrestleMania moments, not Raw or SmackDown. These are just
it ain't just WrestleMania, it's Survivor Series matches before it became War Games, literally SummerSlam moments that's out there, King of the Ring moments. I mean, it's a lot that everybody has.
I know it's like me
in the mind.
It's like if I think of Royal Rumble moment, really, I think of Kane's 12 elimination.
True. Kane was the only man to ever eliminate that many people in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. 2001, Louisiana. It's in New Orleans. Still one of my favorite pay-per-views to this day.
Yeah.
All right, now was my moment. Go ahead, CJ. Now share your moment.
Now, this is where it gets crazy because when I first had like a wrestling match of my favorite of all time, of course, I would have to go to that scaffold match between Vince Grimes and New Jack, because I was watching the documentary and New Jack was telling everybody, he was like, I was going to go punch my stun gun. And the first thing that came to my mind is, what the fuck does a stun gun? So, that was the first question in my mind because it popped up. I was like, why does this dude need a stun gun? So when I started watching that documentary, it became obvious because Sandman's like, Sandman was my favorite, of course. Sandman was like, he told me he was going to go to the pawn shop and buy the stun gun, and he said he was going to tase his. So basically, that match started between Vince Grimes and New Jack, and they was on top of the scaffold. I'd say it's about a good 15, 20 feet at least. Next thing I know, New Jack's over stun gun and Vince Grimes crying out to him, I can't feel my legs. I can't feel my legs. New Jack's like, don't worry, you ain't going to need them. Off the scaffold. I'm sitting there like, I can watch that fall. That fall that Vince Grimes took. The only thing that saved him from breaking his neck was them ring ropes. Because that dude would literally.
That's like that whole Vince mass transit.
Broke his neck probably because of that.
It sounds like that old. Remember that incident they had with that mass transit guy who lied about his age?
Yep.
That could have been. I mean, I guess he wanted to get his ass beat. He wanted him to get his ass beat so bad they could get killed doing it.
Now, Wrestling here just sent a question.
Yeah.
And he's his favorite WrestleMania or ECW premium live event. And I'm going to start with Aaron, then DJ, and then myself.
Well, I've already mentioned a few of my WrestleMania favorite WrestleMania. Are we talking pay-per-view names or just the pay-per-view itself?
Just pay-per-view, I think.
Okay, what's your favorite guys, WrestleMania or ECPLE? Well, ECW really didn't really have PLEs back then, but mine would probably be Heatwave 99. Everybody knows why. And then my favorite WrestleMania, of course, I'm going to have to say 29 in New York. Just because, it's New York, that's where it started.
There's a Madison
thing. Think about it. I was at MetLife, even though we had to see fucking Baby Bottle Boy. I won't mention his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Baby.
Yeah, he performed live there. That was like the last and only time I saw him.
Now, here's my thing. If I had to go any WrestleMania, one of my favorite WrestleManias, we know the infamous match that happened here. WrestleMania 17, TLC. Dudley's Edge and Christian.
Yeah, I was going to say that's iconic.
Now, if I had to go my favorite WrestleMania, it would have to be the back-to-back matches between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Oh, man. I got to see one of them, or actually, no, I didn't.
It would have to be the back-to-back WrestleManias between Shawn Michaels and Taker.
I was about to say, yeah, those matches. You thought Shawn was really going to win, too. I don't really think I ever really had a favorite ECW. I liked them all. But if I had to pick one, it was probably Heatwave or Barely Legal. Because Barely Legal, if it wasn't for Barely Legal, they would have been in ECW because that's the one that started out pay-per-views.
Now I don't. Now I won't. I don't know if anybody remembers this moment from ECW, and I remember watching this moment take place on pay per view. It happened at the ECW arena in Philadelphia in June 22nd, 1996. The Hardcore Haven 96 pay per view,
Oh, yes.
where the ring was being repaired, but we know due to reasons, everybody can look this moment up on your favorite channel. The infamous Kimono Wanalea moment, if you know what I mean.
The lesbian angle, yes.
No. It ain't that. No.
Oh,
I'm talking, Aaron. I'll put the clip in the brothers chat when we done, and I'll show you the exact moment I'm referring to. The Kimono Wanalea, otherwise known as Layla Meow in WCW, did a strip tease at the ECW arena when the ring collapsed.
why would they do it when it just makes it even more funnier, though? Ring collapses and they're over there doing dirty dances, right?
And literally, the moment was caught on camera in front of the world to see.
Hey, man, back then, that was something rare because back then no one even went to the shows and recorded shit.
Literally, this moment was like the highlight, because ECW was so unscripted. You had moments like this happen.
Yeah, all the time.
Like, Paul Heyman was a mastermind.
He still is. I mean, he's a GOAT for a reason. He's the GOAT of managing. He could take anybody on any roster and fucking give them the talent and make them rise. Look what he's doing for the division, man. He didn't have to. He could say, fuck it, I'm retiring, I'm done. But you know what? He's still going.
Now, when it comes to Christian of my favorite WrestleMania or ECW, I mean, there's a lot, because if we talk about ECW, I have to go back with Shane Douglas and Brian Pillman, or Shane Douglas and Rick Rude. That was two of my favorites, as well as
the human suplex machine. Yep.
Doing a promo. I don't know who it was against, but I think either Taz was, I think, the ECW television or world champion at the time, and he was doing a promo with one of his opponents. I think he was defending the title the same night. I don't know if it was like a regular ECW show or a pay-per-view, but that was my favorite.
Yeah, is it the one where he says, "Let that motherfucker go"? That one?
I think that's the one.
Yeah, that was Mike Awesome and Taka, whatever his name was. It was a three-way dance.
Then
it was Mike Awesome, that little Jap motherfucker. Yeah.
Rowdy Piper for the Intercontinental Championship. That would be my WrestleMania. Or if we're going like old school WrestleMania, probably. And the Cleveland Browns helped out the Steelers again, and so it's so funny that I would say Rick on same team twice in the same year.
I'm gonna say an old school WrestleMania for me would probably be WrestleMania 14. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold.
I think that's the same WrestleMania, wasn't it? That he won the WWE title off of Stone Cold, or was it?
Stone Cold won it off Shawn Michaels in Boston. That's the one where Rick, what's his name? Old Pete Rose got chokeslammed by Kane. Basically. That was the match where it was Kane versus Undertaker for the first time too. I don't remember all the matches. I remember the good ones. I don't remember them all.
Now I'm gonna switch this up. This is gonna be the next question. Favorite MMA athlete to do professional wrestling?
Oof.
Let's see.
Well,
Let's see how.
There's only a few. There's only a few though. That's the thing.
Dan Severe was one of them. He done MMA. He was UFC heavyweight champion.
Brock Lesnar.
I'll take you back to a name that I think y'all all might remember. Tank Abbott.
Wait. I was about to say Tank fucking Abbott. I was about
Tank
to
Abbott
say
was literally a beast.
That's why they called him Tank Abbott.
And you got to think Ken Shamrock actually done MMA too, because he done UFC.
Yeah. Right.
Brock Lesnar, because he went from wrestling to MMA, then he came back.
It came back.
If we're gonna talk about Brock Lesnar, I mean that dude put more.
Another name that we're forgetting out of this lineup, Cain Velasquez did it.
Yeah, but he got his ass whooped by Brock literally in 30 seconds.
Another one that did it, I think, was I forgot his name. Black guy. And I'm not referring to Bobby Lashley.
No. Everybody thinks Bobby Lashley because he did MMA, yeah, but he wasn't very good.
If I remember,
Moose.
No, not Moose.
I thought Moose had an MMA background though.
Yeah, he had a MMA background level because and if we remember the segment, he popped up in the segment that helped the main event Mafia in TNA.
Shelton Benjamin.
No.
Okay. Athletes do professional. Okay, so someone from the octagon going to the squared circle. Okay, I guess. Let me think. Yeah, you already said Tank Abbott, so there's a few of them.
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah,
she was another.
Yeah, only female to do. I was hoping that Holly Holmes would come to WWE.
That's the first thing that I had to literally think about when Ronda joined WWE. I'm like, oh God, we're going to get the next fight between Rousey and Holly Holm.
Oh,
yeah.
That's who it was. I just looked it up. So literally, it was Quentin Rampage Jackson.
So Rampage Jackson. Wow. Yeah, it just looks. Yeah, it's like what his son did to that other wrestler there. I was like, wow. You're going to let him do that?
Then another, in that same moment in TNA, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, popped up in wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tyson. Remember, he went on AEW for a few times, but
Mike Tyson went from boxing to wrestling, but he wasn't in MMA.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He got featured in the UFC game just off the strength in UFC 2.
They only did that because they know he's a Hall of Famer and he's a GOAT. But yeah, MMA.
CM Punk actually did MMA, but he wasn't really an MMA fighter. There's another one.
But he didn't do so hot in the MMA world, did he? What did he go 0-3?
You know, it's kind of funny how I'm going to mention this. I don't know if you guys watched AEW, but I remember that promo that MJF said to CM Punk, and he said, CM Punk, I'm going to finish you quicker than your UFC career. I was like, oh, shit, he just went there.
That dude is so savage. It's kind of probably why I like MJF a little bit. He kind of reminds me of
He said that promo, sitting there like, oh, shit, that dude just went there.
Yeah, they got this video on YouTube about MJF. Just type in MJF, try not to laugh. It's all his like savage moments, and that's on there, I believe. There's a lot of MJF savage moments. Come on now.
I'll tell you another savage moment is when CM Punk fired back and said, MJF, does it stand for my jealous fan?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That whole thing. My jealous fan, even though it was Maxwell Jacob Friedman. So wasn't he? I thought he was on WWE for a while, way back, like trying out for Tough Enough, wasn't he? Because I saw a clip of him and it looked like he was on Tough Enough in his bedroom and shit, way back. Let me see. I still have it somewhere. Yeah, right here. I found it. Maxwell Friedman.
I'll tell you what, my favorite moment was
Yeah.
about WWE and AEW. Same segment that MJF pulled on CM Punk, and then CM Punk said to MJF, he said, "You're just a less famous Miz."
I know, right? I was gonna say I don't think MJF would get away with a lot of shit if he was with WWE.
My question is, I want to know this. Do you guys think WWE, after TKO is running it, you think TKO is doing a good job, or you think TKO needs to sell it back to Vince?
I think they need to sell it back to Vince because think about it. TKO is jacking the ticket prices up. People can't even afford to go to it now. Like to the point that like it's to the point that you gotta watch wrestling on 3 different streaming platforms. It's kind of stupid, to be honest. They should have just kept Peacock or WWE Network, to be honest.
Like I feel like they really need to go back to Vince because it feels like the aura and the mystique is missing. And no offense to Triple H, he's doing an excellent job with everything, but you're missing like so many potential storylines and you're not pushing wrestlers to be effective. Like I said back in the start of this whole podcast, you missed the mystique and aura of wrestling. Like storylines were a thing, but you also had the wrestling aspect. It's too much entertainment value in wrestling now that's killing everything, and TKO is ruining that.
Yeah, like they're jacking the prices up to the point that people can't even afford to go to a wrestling show. It's like
back then, like Aaron was saying, back then that you could I think this was like 6 or 7 years ago, you could actually go to the WWE event when they done the live events, and you could go in for like $20. That's the cheapest.
Or 15 sometimes. Like up here, it was 15.
Depending on if they sell tickets, if they like for a house show like I went to, if they sold enough tickets, they would. Depending on if they sold enough tickets or not. If they didn't, they would cut the prices down so they could sell more tickets.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you hadn't have them so high and pricey, you could sell more tickets.
Mm-hmm.
But
the lower the ticket prices, the more people are going to go. Isn't that what you want?
It goes back to a lot of things that we pretty much.
You wonder why AEW ticket sales are so good now, and they're not raising their price up because they're trying to be affordable for wrestling fans. Unlike WWE, which is spending the arm and the leg to get one seat Like they want dang near $100 to $150 or more for a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, but then you go to a PLE like WrestleMania, you want 500 or better for a seat.
I know. I went to one. I went to the three most iconic WrestleManias, and I only paid top ticket. I paid. My mom I think my mom paid at Miami. It was
And
$250.
if I can get on to this topic of why we need Vince back in the saddle, and I know a lot of wrestling fans are tired of this situation. Can we please stop with the Saudi Arabia agenda?
I know. Wrestling. I
Like
get it.
that is
Yeah,
one
man.
thing that is killing a lot of things because say for example, women's wrestling can't be the same as we see it in the States that we can't see over there because they got to wear bodysuits.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you are basically hurting the women's side of wrestling by
Because
going to Saudi Arabia.
and they're still. I get it. It's their culture and whatnot, but still, if you're in a wrestling ring, you should be able to wear whatever the fuck you want, no matter what you are.
Exactly.
Even I mean, wear it for that match and then get clothes back up after. I mean, it's a big deal. People having a fit about it. Oh, it's fun. Part of our culture. You know what? Cultures are meant to be broken.
Exactly. And like there's fans talking about to this very day. If this was Vince, he would have had everything basically in the States. The moment you made that Saudi Arabia deal was the moment everything went downhill.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that's what's pretty much killing it. And then they want to bring WrestleMania over there and then Royal Rumble over there. It's like, Jesus. I get it. You're giving other cultures a chance to witness it live, but still, WrestleMania should never be over there. I'm sorry. It started.
I
It
feel
started
like
in the States. It should stay in the
anything
States.
Big Four related, whether it be a WrestleMania, a SummerSlam, Survivor Series, none of the Big Four should ever go to Saudi Arabia. Like this WrestleMania coming up in Saudi and the Royal Rumble that they announced is going to be so awkwardly placed in Saudi because the men is going to feel like they got more of a spotlight than the women do. And the women can't perform the way they want to, especially because I think I overheard a video of a little small snippet from Liv Morgan where she said those bodysuits are so uncomfortable and trying to do the moves that we do, it hinders a lot on their performance. And I wholeheartedly agree with what Liv said.
I'm not reading a comment from one of my buddies saying, "Can you name me at least 3 ex NFL players that joined WWE?" I can name more than that. There's a few.
Goldberg was one.
Yeah, but he didn't play like NFL. I'm talking from going from
He
NFL.
did. He played with Deion Sanders and the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forget about that.
Before he came into wrestling, he was in NFL for maybe a season before they let him go, and then he was talking with Dion, and Dion asked him, "What are you going to do next?" I think I'm going to go right into wrestling.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Goldberg. Yeah, it's probably the biggest name from NFL, probably.
And then you have to factor in The Rock came from college football, never made it to the pros, and went right to wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Remember that. Remember Gronk, the hardcore title champion, 24/7 champion.
And then you got Baron Corbin, former star. I forgot the team he tried out for.
Milwaukee, Minnesota Vikings.
But he was one of the many.
Yeah, Bradshaw was there. Actually, JBL actually played for the Raiders for a while. And then so then Roman tried to make it, but he got cut.
I believe Brock Lesnar did at one point. I think he played for the Vikings.
He tried out
for the Minnesota Vikings.
He tried out for the Vikings, but he got cut.
He tried out for the Vikings and didn't make it past a certain preseason game.
Yeah, they cut him, said he was too aggressive. I was like, man, that's the type of person you'd want, wouldn't you'd think, right?
Right.
I mean, to me, someone that's aggressive is the type of guy I'd want. Look at Ray Lewis. Look at how aggressive he was.
Look at Raven.
Definitely.
He was a Raven. He will always be a Raven. That's why he's immortalized at Raven Stadium with the freaking statue out front.
Going back to what my good friend Jay Kidd said, I'm going to quote what he said. He said that he would think Raven would be a better position to where Triple H is than Triple H, because Raven pretty much can do the business and know the business. Pretty much, I think Raven should deserve the COO. But you got to think about
it. I don't know, because Raven was kind of, his career was up and down all the time.
Hell, a man that I would say right now that nobody is saying is getting his just due.
What? Who?
Vampiro.
Oh, yeah.
Vampiro, he was a brutal wrestler through thick and thin in WCW. Mm-hmm. And then when he got around ICP, he got even more ruthless.
JCW, yeah. Juggalo Clown Wrestling or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, because...
See, you would have got along with Tyler just fine.
ICP basically had their own wrestling program.
Yeah.
That they did. I don't know if they still do it. They still got it now, but...
Let me see. I'll see if they are.
I know that they own a wrestling company. They own a wrestling promotion.
I'll tell you another WCW guy, if you guys remember. So, if you go back and look at the tape of WCW, there was Ultimo Dragon.
Right.
One of my favorites, which was John Stasiak. Then you had that. Put it in the chat. But also, when we talk about WCW, wars, while that's when DX tried to come in with the paint, it's like an invasion sort of thing.
Yeah, JCW is still going. They just don't do as much.
decision to make. But I'm going to be leaving Ghost Hunters. It's not the end. It's not going to be the 200th episode, and it's mind-boggling watching the machine build, working well. Flattered to be invited back to come and investigate them again. Oh, last time we had some great friends.
Oh, speaking of putting in a certain locker code, I got to do that.
Yeah. See, the last JCW champion is Matt Cardona, October 31st.
But I don't know if the company is still standing.
Yeah, it is. They just don't do it as much because of Silent J's condition. Remember, he's got like some kind of like breathing problem, I guess. I don't know.
So, Aaron, remember the moment I was going to show you?
Oh, yeah.
Look at your Facebook.
Look at my Facebook.
Now, another question I'm going to ask you guys is this. Who is the better wrestling company? AEW, ECW, TNA, or WWE? Or WCW?
Whoa, if you're going to talk actual wrestling, are we talking actual wrestling, or all around entertainment?
All around.
All around, I'd definitely have to go with ECW. Because they had the wrestling, they had the violence, and they had the funny part. Because look, BWF.
In my humble opinion, I mean, WCW was up there, but in my book, Paul Heyman broke boundaries in ECW.
For that era,
Paul Heyman literally broke boundaries. He broke fourth wall things you wouldn't be able to see in a WWE or WCW or AEW arena.
Yeah,
he let everybody be creative, and he never came out and said this, that, and the third. The wrestlers did the promos. The wrestlers built the spotlight. They took over a show that literally was built on and founded by the wrestlers.
Basically, let them be as creative as they wanted to be.
Like, that was the one spot I feel had the most creative freedom, and yet never gave a damn. They put on for the fans, and that was the CRB. No matter if you had Eric Bischoff over here.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
In the moment.
Yeah, I remember that moment.
Now you see. Now you remember the whole outlook.
Yeah, because I was like 8 years old when I went to that, and I was there. So
you never like. That's why I say ECW had some that moment still gets so many views to this very day, and I'm sitting up here like,
why? Look at that girl, man. She fine as fuck.
Like,
what was her name?
For Kimona Wanalea.
Yeah, Kimona Wanalea.
In WCW, she was known as Layla Meow.
Yeah.
Like, she, if I had, and I want to ask this question to everybody in the stream.
Wait, wasn't she part of that whole Beulah McGillicuddy, Tommy Dreamer angle too?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She looked like that girl. It's a guy. Well, it's a woman.
Now, here's my thing, right? Now, this is a question that I seriously have been holding in, and I'm going to ask this on my Facebook page at some point later today. I said this. Everybody is a huge fan of the women's division, no matter if it's past, present, future.
No, of course not.
5 of the hottest women in wrestling that you fell in love with the moment you saw.
I'd say ECW had some of the hottest women. I mean, you had Don
Because at the
Marie.
top of my head, because at the top of my list, y'all probably gonna hate me for it, but y'all probably may respect me for it as well. The Queen of Extreme, Francine.
I was about to say Francine's one of them. And then they had Don Marie,
Dawn Marie,
Lita.
Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, we had Lita too, but she went by I think a different. I think she's still the
I
same
just
name.
said the name, Aaron. Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, her. Nicole
Another
Bass.
one that was over there, Tammy Lynn Sitch, which was Sunny.
Yep. You forgot Nicole Bass. Jazz, man. She was a beast. She was like a bulldog.
Eula McGillicuddy.
Tommy Dreamer's wife. I'm trying to think. No, Stacy Keebler, wasn't she? No, she was WCW.
Stacy Keebler was WCW, WWE.
But I remember when she did do the whole ECW thing with the Dudley Boys.
Now, the only rare appearances that was over in, I think, ECW at the time was, I think, Jasmine St. Clair. She was the only legendary name to pop up over there.
Let's see. I know there's Nicole Bass was one of them, but no one really cared about her.
Then, if I had to go the WCW route, there was Tori Wilson, Stacy Keebler,
we
hell,
forgot
the
one.
Nitro Girls.
We forgot one from ECW. Woman.
Another one that was in the WCW side, Kimberly Page,
That was Diamond Dallas Page's wife, right?
aka the same woman who posed in the Playboy magazines.
Mm-hmm. China. She was in Playboy. Yeah.
One of my rare favorites in WWE, Christy Hemme.
Ooh. Yeah, she was.
Candice Michelle being another one. I got a list of them that are like Kelly.
I know.
AKA the infamous strip tease moments on ECW programming. She used to do it in Mike, whoever that guy is, came out to interview.
Mike Knox.
That's the guy.
Yeah, because remember that CJ when Big T told us he met Mike Knox, he wanted to punch him in the mouth.
Yep.
Because he was so rude. Yeah, Big T said that. He was like, I should have punched him right in the goddamn mouth.
You know what? The funniest thing is, the funniest thing I remember is watching this on WCW. I don't know if you remember that they had Nitro Girls.
Yeah, that's what he was just talking about.
Yeah, I was just saying that the Nitro Girls, because originally it's like Stacy was a part of the Nitro Girls, and a couple of them are still around. Like I think one of the Nitro Girls to this day is dating Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm. One of them was.
One of them is still dating Shawn Michaels.
And became his wife eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still married to this day.
Yep. I think it was Nitro Girl Che. Let me look this up.
So it said, should Sabu go in the WWE Hall of Fame? Yes. Hands down, yes. I know he wasn't in WWE that long, but what he did in WWE was crazy. If you remember that one night stand match with Rey Mysterio, you'll know what I'm talking about. The dude fucking launched himself onto a ladder and tried to DDT both of them through the ladder.
Oh, yep. I said the wrong one. Aaron.
What?
It's Rebecca Curry, who was known as Whisper, married Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Now, going back to the Hall of Fame for 2026, what do you guys think of the Hall of Fame predictions? Who WWE should put in the Hall of Fame this year?
Who they should put in there, which they don't recognize, is ECW guys, and you already know who I'm going to say. He just passed away, would be Sabu. Because they put his
Sabu
uncle.
should definitely be one mentioned. Hell, one that I think should be mentioned as far as the women's side goes. As much as I respect Stephanie McMahon for what she's done, I think there needs to be a double introduction to the table here.
Well,
we need to give Francine her flowers.
Yeah, her too.
Well,
we definitely need to give Francine her flowers.
Here's what I think needs to be done. Aaron is right about one thing. Some of the ECW guys need to have their.
They don't even mention them. They look at ECW guys as like the disgruntled fucking bad news bears. Like they weren't good because they weren't WWE.
That definitely deserves a Hall of Fame status. I don't care what WWE says. I think this needs to be pushed, and one of those is the gangster New Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, most definitely, New Jack definitely deserves his flowers right now at this very moment. Because if you can give Rob Van Dam his moment and the Dudley Boys their moment and Paul Heyman his moment, New Jack definitely deserves his.
What about Sandman?
New Jack, Sandman, and Tommy Dreamer all deserve their moment.
Exactly. I was going to say they all transcended the wrestling business. Like
hell, another name that is very rare that should be recognized in the Hall of Fame, Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney.
Yes. The two chair swinging freaks. There was another. Who else? What's the other? Wasn't there another one? Axel and somebody else. Not Balls Mahoney, but there was another one.
Like I feel like another name that's forgotten in the table. Danny Doran and Roadkill.
Yeah, I was gonna say Roadkill.
Hell, Mikey Whipwreck from Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Hey, wait, he's from your town?
Thinks of Axe. He's thinking of the Demolition, Axe and Smash.
No. No, there was another. It was Axel Rotten's like cousin or some shit. Can't think of his name.
I thought you talked about the Demolition.
Oh, Axe yeah.
They deserve it too. That's what I think.
They do deserve it. I was gonna say, isn't New Age Outlaws already in it?
Mm-hmm.
What about Sexual Chocolate, D-Lo and Mark Henry?
Mark Henry, I think, got in the Hall of Fame. He was inducted back a while ago.
Yeah, like 2 years ago. Yeah, I remember
like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm not really sure, but he was pretty much in there.
Hey, D'Lo Brown should be going in. I mean,
now everybody wants this, but everybody's saying they want a solo induction for China.
No, I don't say that in a mean way. I'm just saying that because you
but
remember.
I also understand the severity behind it because
what she
did. She was in the industry. I'm not going to say anything out of the ordinary here, but she was in that industry, and that's probably part of the reason why she don't get the recognition she deserves.
Yeah, because she was in the adult entertainment business. You know, I mean, it was her choice, man. It's not like you're gonna hate on her for it. This was after she retired from wrestling, anyways.
It's like
Big. We had a question here. He said favorite MMA moments. Mine personally is when Brock Lesnar knocked out Randy Couture with a hammer fist to win the UFC heavyweight title. What do you guys got for the MMA moment?
Mine in the ring, or are we talking in the ring or like backstage somewhere?
Is it in the ring or outside the ring, like backstage, Big John Bundy?
Because if it's backstage, then I'm gonna go with that whole Conor McGregor throwing that fucking dolly at that tour bus.
He says in ring.
I think when Conor McGregor knocked out that one guy, he's like, "Surprise! The king is back, motherfucker."
Now, there are so many legendary moments I could say, but if I go back and I'll tell you this moment, because I think this was the first big moment that I seen. Chuck the Iceman Liddell when he knocked out Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, I was about to say that was probably my favorite.
The big epic moments between Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell was a beast. Still is.
Like that man, like his whole persona in the ring with the ice shorts and his signature ice patch on him. It was like that's what got me into the whole creative process of me on the game and trying to take my attire to the next level.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
It's like watching these wrestlers and their attire give so much creative volume to me. And this is why I watch wrestling still to this day. Even though I may not be a huge fan of certain wrestlers, don't get me wrong, but it's these exact moments that makes the show feel these matches feel iconic to me.
Yeah, I remember that, man. Yeah, Chuck Liddell, yeah. He was the one with the ice shorts, right? And the match.
Yep.
Now, the Big John Bundy had was favorite wrestler or MMA fighter.
Oh, favorite wrestler? Me? I mean, I got a bunch of them, but like, are we talking now or all time?
Is it now or all time, Big John Bundy, if you're still in the chat?
I mean, I have so many of the, like, favorite wrestler, MMA fighter. All time? All right. Well, if we're going MMA, I'm going to have to say Brock. I mean, he was always fun to watch, especially live. You never knew what he was going to do. If he was going to go unhinged on somebody. And wrestler, well, all-time favorite wrestler, Stone Cold, because he was ruthless. He was a fucking rebel. He didn't give a fuck about the rules. He broke them as he see them. It's either Stone Cold or Undertaker. Them are my two, like, all-time.
Here's my thing. It's like a few in MMA that I truly respected, Chuck Liddell being one of them. And then I forgot the other guy's name. John Jones being another one for MMA, but for wrestlers, there's only like for the women's side, I was a huge Lita and Trish fan, and Rock and Stone Cold. There's so many wrestlers that I respect in general, and as far as women go for MMA, it was always Ronda Rousey.
Now the final it's Robert DCW better than any other.
Because they had more creative freedom, man. They could do whatever they wanted, man. It was more fun to watch.
ECW was the place that made everybody feel like they can just come watch that show and feel in the moment of not just the wrestling, but also the show in general. You don't have that nowadays in today's wrestling. ECW is one of those one-of-a-kind special wrestling shows that you can sit there, be on the edge of your seat, and be like, holy shit, look at this action.
Or you could be there and not even know a thing about wrestling and just fall in love with it.
It's like you could pop up at the arena. Like, I went to my first ECW event, and I was like, the fuck? I was so close to the action. They came near me, and then the guy, I remember the moment that as Rob Van Dam was like passing the chair, threw the chair right to him.
Or that whole, I remember the one night stand when Cena threw his shirt in the crowd and they threw it back.
Mm-hmm. But it's like ECW had so much involved, not just the wrestlers, but you had fan participation. That was a huge factor of ECW.
Fans were like cult followers there, man.
Exactly.
Like if you fucking mouthed off about ECW at the ECW arena, you were more likely to have a fucking either a knife stab or getting punched in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Like I remember this moment all too well.
We're talking Philly, man. You already know they ain't.
Like I remember this all too well. The Dudley Boys was in the ring. Yep. They was like the Hammerstein Ballroom, and I remember watching it to this very day. As soon as I think they was in the moment of saying something about somebody who passed away, a fan was in there heckling the Dudley Boys, and he was like this, like, yo, you could do us all a favor. Give this fucker his money back and get the fuck out of the arena. Paul Heyman came out and said, yo, sir, here's your money back. Get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. It's like that whole mass transit thing too.
That's like Paul Heyman didn't give two fucks.
The heck was that?
You felt, or at the moment, you disrespected somebody. You disrespected the moment of somebody passing, and the fans goes on saying this, and this. You deserve to be kicked the fuck out.
Exactly, man. You
don't even deserve to have your money given back to you. But Paul Heyman, out of spite, gave him his money back and told him to get the fuck out.
What happened? What was it? CJ's playing with the sound effects, I think.
Now, the question is, are you guys ready for the main event of this question? Because we about to put this as an explosive content for the next 15 minutes as we're going to get a little bit more into history aspect of Wild Club Wrestling, and I'm going to start with the one and only, and then DJ towards me in this bang.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this offense, and listen, you got to have James Cook. We have the title that
Q&A.
So, the question is, what wrestling show made you the biggest wrestling fanatic? And we're going to start with Ethan and Aaron and myself.
Well, good. That gives me time to make a coffee, so I'll be right back.
Well, What made me a fan of wrestling? I gotta go to this particular back and forth scenario here. We take you back to the Monday Night Wars. That's what made me a fan of wrestling. Seeing the back and forth, the way that each show was done, the way that the storylines was intertwined to where Vince and Eric Bischoff was literally pushing that narrative. All to get views, all to get ratings, all to bring the fans to what show attracted them the most. But other than that, it's like you can't sit there and like everybody has a general moment in that made them a fan. Because the Monday Night Wars made me a fan of wrestling, but also going back to my childhood, the first ever match that I seen was WrestleMania 3.
This one every now and then, and he missed one that lastly, the Eagles. They are such a weird team. You can't find
So I'm going to go with since Aaron stepped in the coffee. What makes me a fan for that match? There's a lot of matches. Of course, Shane Douglas, Bob Pillman, and each match, and it's the second would be for the NWA title. That NWA title is very historic. It goes way back. It's probably the WWE title. The third and final one is going back to wrestling. Favorite match of all time: Midnight Express versus the Rock Rollers. One of the latest tag team matches the wrestling business will pretty much ever get to see. As far as
Josh Allen for situations one for the next week.
Well, CJ, I'm gonna take care of this errand run real quick, but it was a pleasure being on.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Expected to be this week, just on next week, which is a little bit probably at the end and expected to play, but he is not himself. Obviously, this is something
from DJ. Now we pretty much wait on Aaron to give his thing. So
significant back contusion for Lamar Jackson. Team but last week, obviously, much better chance for this week. The hope he is out there. No one is said for sure that Lamar will play. We're just getting into the everything out. Obviously, there's hope that he's going to be out there. So we know he's not going to be out there. Max Crosby, star portable edge for the Las Vegas Raiders. He was shut down this week against his word. Did not want to be shut down. He's going to have resurgery. So they actually happened in October. We actually talked about shutting him down then. He wanted to play through it. The team is protecting for himself. Doesn't want him to injure it further. That is part of it. The other part of it is what the Las Vegas Raiders are looking at, which is the potential number one overall pick. They did manage to lose to the Giants. It certainly seems that they're inside the track. Number one overall pick. But maybe all this actually worth it in the end. Max Crosby.
You're back. A wrestling fan of
The perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red. This is the farmer's dog beef. Supposedly, but only one is gently cooked and made to human grade safety standards. Get 50% off your first box.
Sometimes I lose myself. What the deal? Goosebumps. You look really looks this fixing save up to 70% while you still can across the store at cousinpulls.com.
Now, getting back on the topic here, guys, is what are your guys' favorite New Year's resolution? Put it down on this so he can give his answers, and we will see you guys on the next one.
There's no wrong ways. As long as it's